So if you're serious about choosing the right business model and you want to make some real money, then you have to consider businesses that might not work for you. Now, I will warn you, as someone that has tried and failed multiple business models, now I'll go ahead and warn you, as someone who's failed multiple business models, if you do try and fail a business model, it will take a ton of time away from you. But you'll also gain a lot of wisdom and perspective in return. Now, I've tried and failed multiple business models, and failing these business models was some of the most valuable things that could have happened to me. And every business model that didn't work for me showed me what I was truly best at. And these are things that I can't find online, that I can't find in an article or in a YouTube video, that I only could have learned from firsthand experience. And when I talk about failed businesses, I'm not talking about a lemonade stand that people try as kids, or I'm talking about real businesses that I put sweat, money, and tears into and lost all of it. These are businesses I put late nights into, I put time into, I put money into, and some of these sounded like gold on paper, but when in practice and in real life, it just didn't work out, and it just didn't work out for me. But if you're anything like I am, then these businesses may not work for you. So because of this video, you don't have to try and guess which businesses to try out or which businesses to avoid, because I've already taken all the damage for you. Now, some of these are ideas you'll want to stay pretty far away from, and others you might see a way to do it better than I did it. But ultimately, these failed businesses are a tool for learning. If I launch a business like I did with my first marketing agency and it completely crashes, I don't just forget it happened. I actually sit down and break down what went wrong and get the most that I can out of it. This isn't something I did just for a marketing agency. This applies to every project I've ever started, whether it was a product launch, a side hustle, or just some random scheme I tried after watching a YouTube video. It doesn't really matter where the idea came from. If it ended up teaching me something, then it's valuable in itself. Now, I dove into my first business thinking that I would just have all the freedom I wanted and I could work quietly behind a screen and I wouldn't have to talk to anybody. And that ended up not to be true. Because the very first day I was doing this, I was sending cold emails, I was cold calling. And if I did get someone interested, then I had to get on a Zoom call with them. And all of these things are things that I hate and I'm personally not good at. And I don't want to be good at them. Not only that, but if I did get these clients, then I would have to spend their hard-earned money for their ad budget while I learned everything on the fly, and I just didn't like the idea of burning up someone's money for me to learn what to do. Not only that, but random notifications and weekend emergency calls, and just suddenly this business model did not look the way it did when I first started. So this model was a marketing agency. For someone that values independence and I like to do things on my own time, I thought this would be a good idea. But the truth is that you do have to deal with people and you don't have a lot of free time. Not free time, but independence. But the positive thing that did come from this was Iman Gadji's course that he sold in 2022 or 2023. That course actually changed a lot about my life and what my beliefs are and what my limiting beliefs are today. But I'm not going to get into that. But after I realized I wasn't built for a business that's all about constant communication and handling other people's money, I figured it was time to try something different. Something where I wouldn't have to deal with people and cold calling and cold emailing and just stuff like that. And that is exactly why I chose this next business model, because it promised none of that. I didn't have to do any of that. I could work on my own time, no sales calls, no awkward phone calls, no emails, not making anyone mad. I'm just building my business and eventually I just watch the money come. But what no one told me about this business was how much capital you actually need to get started. People say you don't need any capital, and they say you can get started with zero money, and that's just not the truth. But other than that, I thought I had found the perfect business, and right away I hit a wall because I had to learn so many things like video editing, graphic design, copywriting, web design, getting traffic to the store, figuring out paid ads. And there's a lot that came to it. And I'm actually glad I eventually learned all those skills, except for paid ads. That's a different thing. I don't know if I'll ever learn paid ads. And I know if I really wanted to today, I could make this business model work if I had the capital. But for me, not having the capital up front was a deal breaker. And it's just not something I could continue to do. On top of that, you're competing against huge brands as a solopreneur that are shipping their products out instantly while you're trying to ship your products from China or overseas, and you just can't compete with these guys. Now, this business model was drop shipping. And even though I eventually did walk away from it, the skills I picked up, I still use today. I use every one of them every day. I'm so grateful I even tried this because, like I said, I learned so much from this. It's unreal. And the truth is that solo dropshippers are some of the deadliest people in business. If you find a successful solo dropshipper, I wouldn't doubt that they could take on any brand out there themselves. So now there was another business model I tried that felt completely different from everything else. And this one let me work alone, let me stay out of the scene, and was really fun at first. And I spent hours creating content, coming up with my own ideas, trends, and there was no clients or no sales call. It was just me and whatever I wanted to do and my creativity. All I had to do was post really good content and direct people to products that I would get paid for if they bought. Now, these weren't my products, but I would get a commission if they did buy these products. But what surprised me was how much work actually goes into making something look effortless. Because I was making videos to try to sell other people's products. But behind every video was hours of writing caption, designing graphics, and researching what would actually get clicks. And eventually I burned out. And actually to this day, some of those posts are still getting views and likes and comments. If you're wondering what I was doing affiliate marketing on Pinterest, posting like fashion and clothing for girls. Out of everything I tried, this was the most plug and play, you could say, in terms of just being able to start up and do it. Now, today I've landed on something that's actually perfect for my personality. And what led me to this was all those failed business models. What I'm doing now is selling info products on Instagram, and honestly, it's the perfect business model but for me because you don't need capital. There's no sales calls, there's no cold calling, there's no cold emailing. And on top of that, I'm trying to build my own personal brand now. As you can see here, like I'm doing on YouTube and on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. But like I said, looking back, every failure was just setting me all up for this. And if this doesn't work, then this is just setting me up for something else, which will end up way better than it ever could have any other way. So that really just goes to show if you think you're failing at something, it's really not the end and it's probably setting you up for something better. And it's just a stepping stone if you keep going and actually learn from it. But that's all I got today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.